Hey everyone, got a new player of the week selection on eFootball. As always, I'll put timestamps in the description, so if there's a particular player you want to hear about, just click on the description, there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So we'll have a look at who we've got this week. We've got 3 4-stars. Starting with Mosquera. So, from Villarreal, we've got a centre-back. He is already a destroyer. This is usual playstyle, usual position. It's the first feature version we've had of him. They've not really boosted a great deal, to be honest. Tackling's had a bit of a boost. That's gone up to 90, but apart from that, it's not that much of an upgrade from his base card, really, in my opinion. And the defensive engagement, pretty low at 77. He's a bit slow as well. He's going to be absolutely honking on the ball. All in the 50s there. Low pass. That will go past 60 at least in the game plan boost, but let's be honest, technically this guy's horrible. Poor balance as well. He's not going to feel nice on the ball at all. It's not what you need from a centre-back, but still, you want it to be a bit higher than that. In terms of his skills, he already had aerial superiority and blocker, but all the rest of these skills have been added. So heading, man marking, interception, sliding tackle and fighting spirit. So they've really beefed up his skill set for a centre-back. He's got a good selection of skills there. So really, I think this is just one of those cards where if you're a Villarreal fan, if you're from Colombia, you like this guy for whatever reason, you'll be pleased to get this guy. It's an upgrade on his base card, but looking at it in isolation, I don't think many people are going to be too keen to get this guy. He's slow, clunky as hell, engagement's a bit low. It's not a great card, really. So yeah, it's not a great one, this. And next we've got Tillman. So at PSV this season, first thing they've done with this guy, they've given him left midfield. He doesn't normally have that, so he's had a new position given to him. Same playing style, the whole player. To be honest, overall he's had a decent boost compared to his GP card. This is a nice version of Tillman. It is a good boost. In terms of his skills, we'll start with his skills. They've taken away cut behind and turn and heel trick. Heel trick's a bit of a miss. He could say cut behind and turn as well, but they've given him heading, through passing, and outside curler. So they've given him some nice skills there. Already got long range shooting, acrobatic finishing, first time shot, one touch pass. So he's got a decent section of skills there, and he's versatile, this guy. So he's got some passing and some shooting. The whole player playing style as well, that will be active left midfield, the new position they've given him. That whole player playing style will be active at all positions that he's got, except for centre forward. I wouldn't use this guy centre forward because he's not got the awareness or the finishing. I wouldn't use him as an attacking midfielder because he's not got the good enough passing. Yeah, I think as an SS or left midfield, he could be useful. It's another 4-star card. You can't expect too much of this guy, but that speed gets to 90 with your game plan boost. Balance will hit 80. Finishing will hit 80, low pass will go over 80. He's kind of decent all around, there's no real weakness. The tight possession's a little bit low, but with some decent skills that he's got, a bit of end product, he's got a bit of, quite a bit of pace about him. That playing style is a good one as well. It's a popular one. Maybe not everyone's cup of tea, but I think most people agree it's a good playing style. And like I say, I think left midfielder or SS, with the ability he's got, yes, it's not a 5-star card, it's not an elite level card by a long stretch, but I think he's got a bit of end product. He's got a bit of pace about him. I think he could be used for one. And with heading and acrobatic finishing as well, the fact that he's about 6'1", just over 6'1", get on the end of some crosses for you as well, especially if you're playing as an SS. So yeah, not an amazing card, but it's a significant upgrade on his GP card. And I think if you do get this guy, he could be a useful option now and then. So yeah, not brilliant, but not bad at all either. And next we have Dante. 40-year-old Dante. I'm not sure how many more good versions of Dante we're going to get. But yeah, the only feature version we've had of Dante previously on eFootball was a nominating contract one. I think it was a club icon one. This is a better card. It's an improvement on that one. As is often the case with centre-backs, they've nerfed his engagement a bit. I've taken about, I think, 4 off that from his GP card. But apart from that, it's a bit of a boost across the board. For a Dante, it's a good version of him. It's the best version we've had. The weakness is obvious. He's slow as hell. The kicking power is pretty low as well. But yeah, if you like a bit more pace in your centre backs, that's going to be a big concern for you. But there are some who don't really mind a lack of pace in the centre back. I think especially if you play certain player styles like maybe his long ball counter, where you've got a deep defensive line, you might not mind that. But if you do like a bit of pace in your centre back, like I say, he's going to be very slow. But apart from that, though, about 6'2", 6'2", 6'3", jumping 81, physical 90, heading 85. Does have aerial superiority. They've added a few: interception and block are new. Sliding tackle as well. Heading and aerial superiority. He's got pretty much a complete selection for a centre back. I think it's just acrobatic clearance he's missing. Apart from that, though, he's got all you need really, skill-wise, for a centre back. So like I say, with his build, the skills and the attributes, he's going to be physically and aerially strong. Defensive attributes, yes, they've nerfed the engagement. That for me is a bit on the low side. But apart from that, strong defensive attributes, and on the ball, he's actually pretty tidy for a centre back. So yeah, is there a major weakness with the lack of pace? Yes. Is the engagement a bit on the low side? Yes. But outside of that, there are some qualities there. So yeah, I want stamina 71's not great. Has he got fighting spirit? No. Right. Okay. So no fighting spirit, stamina 71. That's another concern. So yeah, I mean, he's 40 years old. You're going to expect he's going to be lacking a bit in in the athletic areas. But yeah, an obvious concern with the pace to an extent with the stamina. But there are some qualities there. So for some people, this could be a good card. I think if you're a fan of Dante, there are people who are a fan of Dante, not least for his excellent hair. If you like this guy, it's a great version of him that you'd be very happy if you get. But some obvious weaknesses there. So yeah, the pace will probably put most people off. But for some people, it could be a fun card to pick up. He's got some strengths. And now we have Muslera. So we've had a few versions of Muslera. This for me is the best version. I've had a quick look at the previous versions we've had. We've had one version from a Turkish league pack, which goes up to the same rating as this at 92. But they are different. And the difference is that this one has better core goalkeeping attributes, quite clearly, but the jumping is worse. So it's interesting, the jumping. I always have this rant when they put goalkeepers in player of the week, player of the month. For some reason, I think they can't jump, because when a goalkeeper's on on their best form, they stop being able to jump. I don't know why they keep doing that. And what they do is you've got the core goalkeeper attributes. They all get a nice boost on these cards, and then all the rest of these attributes are considered as unimportant. The passing, the dribbling, and all the things that aren't important for a keeper. Jumping gets bunched in with all the rest, so all these other attributes get boosted by maybe it's like a few points, and that's what happens with jumping. So whatever they start with from their base card, they just add a few, just like they do with the speed, the dribbling, the passing, like I say, and then they put a big boost on these ones. But when you train a trainable goalkeeper, they're in pairs, aren't they? So reflexes goes with catching or parrying, and then the other of those two goes with reach. Goalkeeper awareness goes with jumping. But when they train up these player of the week ones, jumping doesn't get increased with goalkeeper awareness; it gets left behind. So it's got to be an error that they just still haven't noticed. But yeah. That's what's happened again with this card, because normally Muslera's got really good jumping, and that version of him from the Turkish league pack, I think the jumping goes up to 98 or something crazy like that. So that's why the Turkish league version of this guy goes up to 92. It's just because he's crazy at jumping, but he's worse at goalkeeping. So even though it's the same rating as the Turkish league pack, this is a better goalkeeper in my opinion, and I think that's pretty factual, to be honest. I know the game says it's just as good, but jumping alone doesn't make him as good, the Turkish League one. This is the best version of Muslera that we've had. And apart from the jumping not getting much of a boost, it still goes to 84 and a guy is 6'3", so his jumping's fine. And these attributes are pretty good. And it's a pretty solid goalkeeper card. I would like just the awareness to be a bit higher, to be honest. Outside of that, I think it's very usable, but on a top keeper, certainly on a 5-star keeper, he only just sneaks into the 5-star bracket at 92 rated. I think the awareness is probably the main reason for that. I think by now most of us have got 1 or 2 keepers at least, if not more than that, who are kind of about 90 or so for awareness and reflexes, who are kind of a bit better than this guy. So most people probably wouldn't need this guy based on his attributes, but what I would say is, certainly if you're a fan of Muslera, then he's a great version of him to pick up. I used to sign him in Master League, so I'll be very pleased if I get this guy. But Turkish League Challenge. When that Turkish League Challenge comes around, I think you'll struggle to get a better goalkeeper than this one for that. So if you do get this guy, and if you've got room in your squad, I think it'd be worth keeping just for that alone. But aside from that, if you don't have any particular, real top keepers, and if you need a keeper in form in any given week, he certainly looks very usable. So yeah, not an elite level keeper by any means, but it's the best version we've had of Muslera. Be very, very useful for the Turkish League Challenge. So yeah, a decent goalkeeper card could have a use for a lot of people. And now we have Sottil. So Sottil, I didn't see the game, but he had apparently an absolutely blinding game. against, I think it's Sassuolo. He got a couple of goals, a couple of assists. They've given him left midfield. He's normally just got a wide forward positions on both sides, but he's left midfield now. Normally a prolific winger. They've made him a creative playmaker. That's obviously a matter of preference. If you like that playing style out wide, great. Personally, I don't. I say this whenever we get a creative playmaker as a winger. That in terms of their movement, they hang back. You know, when you're working the ball forward, they don't often make the runs in behind the defender into spaces. They like to hang back and get the ball and then sort of play make and have people making runs ahead of them. I want my wingers making runs into good areas, getting behind defenders and into spaces. So it's a frustrating play style for me personally, but it depends what you like. For you, it might work out great. So matter of personal preference, but just something to keep in mind. Compared to his base card, they have boosted him. I think mainly it's the end product. The passing, the finishing have had a real boost, and in terms of his skills as well, they've given him soul control, long range shooting, heel trick, through passing, and pinpoint crossing. So they've given him a bunch of very useful skills for a winger. So yeah, there's some end product skill wise, and like I say, they've boosted the attributes in terms of the end products as well. So he can pass and shoot a lot better than he normally can. Decent on the ball, great pace. But as is often the case, they've done something ridiculous. So you've got a guy who's an attacking player who has had an absolutely blinding game. I think most websites rated him sort of 9.5 out of 10. They've reduced his attacking awareness. That just makes so little sense. Why do they do these things? An attacking player, an absolutely blinding game. Yeah, let's make his attacking awareness lower. Top job. Really well done. But yeah, apart from that, he's quick, decent on the ball, not amazing. Got a bit of end product. It's a decent card. I think like with Muslera, you see the rating, he's only just in that 5-star bracket. It's not an amazing card. He's not a top card. I think most of us have probably got better wingers, but I think again, if you do spin this guy, you got to ask yourself, okay, if I'm struggling for options out wide in any given week, is he going to be able to do a job? Yeah, I think he probably is. If you get the Italian League challenge, you don't have many players with form from Italian League clubs. Could he do a job in that challenge? Yes, certainly. But yeah, certainly in those two cases could have a use for him. And if you're a Fiorentina fan, very good version of him. But outside of that, it's not a top level player by a long stretch. So yeah, decent, could have a use, but not brilliant. Not the most exciting card. And now we have Toti Gomes from Wolves. So a good version of Toti Gomes. I like the look of this guy. He's had a reasonable boost overall. He's got very decent pace for a centre back. The jumping, physical, and heading. You know, the heading might be in the 70s, but he'll hit 80 for heading with the game plan boost. Decent jumping and physical. He's about 6'2", 6'3". Yeah, like I say, decent pace, decent stamina. The defensive attributes are strong. They're not amazing, but there's no weaknesses there. They're all decent. You look down the left, nothing really stands out, but low enough to pass with a decent game plan boost will both hit 70, which is nice for a centre-back. We have a look at his skills. They have added weighted pass, interception, man marking, and sliding tackle. He's already got heading and superiority, and he's got pretty much everything he needs for a centre-back. I think, like with, I think it was Dante we were looking at, I think acrobatic clearance is the only one he's really missing. He's not got fighting spirit, but he's got decent stamina. I think he'll be okay. Yeah, this is a card where you look at it and you think, okay, it's by no means a top centre back. You know, the top centre backs, especially the legend ones that we got, the booster, big time, epic, whatever. He's not on that level clearly, but he's pretty solid. I like the look of this guy. I think certainly for the English League Challenge, it'll be a really nice option to have. And yeah, I think it's a good card. And I think that on Monday the Legend box is English League, so there should be an English League Challenge coming up on Monday, so it could be a useful one for that with A form. But yeah, overall, build up, left-footed centre-back, pretty strong all around. Not amazing by any means, but there's no real weakness there. He's got all the skills. He's got enough, high enough attributes pretty much everywhere. I like the look of this card. I'll be pretty happy if I get this card, to be honest. I think it's a pretty solid card. And then we have Zaccagni. We've got a box-to-box Zaccagni. So normally a prolific winger. They've made him a box-to-box left midfielder. Interesting playstyle for wide midfielder. The only wide midfielder I've got who's a box-to-box is Oxlade-Chamberlain from the Turkish League Challenge. I've got to say I like him a lot. I mean, that's mainly based on his ability, but with the playing style of Oxlade-Chamberlain, he doesn't seem to be in any way frustrating. He gets into good positions. I think box to box would kind of, for me, quite similar to with the attacking movement, not too dissimilar to a whole player prolific winger. They do, you know, Oxlade-Chamberlain for me does get into really good positions, but tracks back a lot as well, so you need a bit of stamina. With Oxlade-Chamberlain, for me, that's frustrating because he doesn't have stamina, but with this guy, he's got a bit. And this is our first booster of the week, and when we hit that booster, as you see, it gets more stamina. That'll hit 90 with the game plan boost. So when he's on A form, he's certainly got the stamina that goes really well with that play style, left midfield. I don't think he really works as a wing back because he can't defend. I think some people would probably like him there, though. It depends what kind of wide midfielder you like. Certainly he's got the stamina to do that. He's got decent pace, very good acceleration. The bounce is okay. He's gonna be all right on the ball. The dribbling is gonna be nice. It's gonna go over 90 with the game plan boost. Elo and lofted pass both hitting 80 with the game plan boost as well. Good attacking awareness for a wide man. Finishing's all right. We have a look. Always weaker foot's been boosted as well. I normally forget that, so there you go. Weaker foot's been boosted. But if we look at the skills, they've taken away cut behind and turn. They've given him first time shot and super sub. So we got ourselves a super sub. Outside of that, through passing is a nice one. Heel trick's nice. No one-touch pass, no pinpoint crossing, no long-range curler. Some skills I would have liked on a guy who plays wide left as a right footer. It's an interesting one, Zaccagni. I think some people might find this guy quite useful. He's a bit different. It's certainly different to most left wingers. I think ultimately is one that, especially with the boost, he could be an interesting one left midfield, getting up and down, bit of end product, pretty tidy on the ball, bit of pace. And even though with the A form boost he goes up to 94, I think I'd have to say again, he's a good one. He could be pretty useful in some scenarios, certainly Italian League challenge again. But overall, is he interesting? Yes. Is he a little bit different? Yes. But is he good enough when I look at him overall to really be a player that I'd want in my squad that I'd ever really use? I'm not sure I would, to be honest. So yeah, Lazio fans, I think very, very nice guy to be very happy getting this guy. But outside of Lazio fans, I think for some of us, if you've not got that many players and he could be a useful option for the Italian League challenge, yeah, fair enough. Could be a good one to pick up, get some value out of him. But I think probably for most people, he's not the most amazing card, really. So now we have DePaul. So this is not the best version of Rodrigo DePaul that we've had. I've had a couple of versions. It is a good version. What they've done with this version to make it a bit different to most versions, though, they've made him a box-to-box. He's normally a whole player, but this time he's a box-to-box. I think we've had just one previous version that was a box-to-box, and that was in, I think, maybe some kind of national team pack of some kind. But yeah, he's a box-to-box this time. They've actually slightly reduced his passing, but they've slightly improved his defensive attributes. If you could play him as a centre midfielder, that's important. And they've given him a big boost on his finishing. If we go to his skills, they have also given him long-range shooting, acrobatic finishing, and outside curler. And they've taken away weighted pass, low lofted pass, and gamesmanship. I think we can live without gamesmanship. It's a bit of a shame we lose weighted pass and low lofted pass on a guy who's really an attacking midfielder, a creative player. So bit of a shame, but we've got some more shooting ability, especially with that finishing attribute getting a nice boost. And we've already got through passing and pinpoint crossing. He's already got those. Soul control. He's in my experience, I think most people would say the same. He's good on the ball. He gets into good positions. He's always a useful player with the versatility. He can do a good job in pretty much every position he's got. But I think a lot of what's good about DePaul normally for most of us is the whole player playing style. So with the box to box, is he going to be as good? I mean, as a centre midfielder, I'd say that's certainly in some ways makes him better with the defensive attributes being boosted as well. He could be a better option as centre mid, but he still doesn't have any defensive skills there. No interception, man marking, none of that. So he's going to be a very offensive-minded centre midfielder. But he will track back a bit with the box-to-box play style. Can he do a job left or right? Yes. He's not the quickest, though. Keep that in mind. If you like your wings to have pace, then he's probably not going to be a good option out wide. If you don't mind the lack of pace, he's certainly got a good product. He's tidy on the ball, so he could do a job left and right. I've used him left and right. He's been decent for me in my version. But my version is a bit quicker. I think this guy is probably best, in my opinion, as an attacking mid or an SS with no play style active. I'm not sure how he'll play in those positions without the play style active. In my experience, most players, when I play them in those positions without a play style, they do pretty good. They get into good enough positions. So I reckon he'd be pretty good in those roles. like I say, tidy on the ball. He's got end product, especially with the finishing getting a nice boost. So yeah, it could be useful there. I think if you've not got, it's one of these cards where if you've not got a good version of him already, it could be a really useful card to pick up with his versatility. Can be a very effective creative midfielder. But I think a lot of us by now probably do have a good version of him, and the chances are you may well have a better one than this. So yeah, he might not be one that you need if you've got a good version of him already, but he's a little bit different, a bit more defensively competent with the play style and the attributes, the way they've adjusted him. So you might prefer this as a centre mid option, as a centre mid version of the pool, but it's not the best version we've had, and I think a lot of us have probably got a better version. So yeah, in isolation, it is a very good card. Could be a very useful one to pick up, but it's not going to be one that everyone really wants. And now we have Isak from Newcastle. So this isn't the best version of Isak we've had. I've got a nominate contract version, which I think goes to 95. This is a good version of him, though. They've actually reduced his acceleration and his balance a bit, which is really frustrating. Don't know why they've done that, but apart from that, they have given him a decent boost overall. That attack awareness, especially at 90, is nice before the game plan boost. Skill-wise, we'll go to the skills before we go further. So they've taken away chip shot control. Not a huge miss. Chip shots haven't historically been great on eFootball. I'm not sure if they've fixed them at any point recently, but yeah, they've taken away chip shot control. They're giving him one-touch pass. I think that's a useful one to have for a striker. Already got first down shot, accurate finishing, soul control, heel trick, bunch of skill moves for the dribblers. Outside curler, yeah. He's got a good selection of skills, Isak. He's quick, good awareness. The finishing could be better, but it's decent. It's good on the ball for centre forward. Passing isn't brilliant, but adding one-touch pass to his skills will help with that. Decent physical contact. He's a big, tall guy, about 6'3", maybe 6'4", about 6'3", 6'4". Good kicking power. Yeah, he's got the pace to go with the goal poacher playing stuff. But like I say, reducing his acceleration is frustrating. I mean, he didn't exactly show any less pace than he normally does, or certainly turn a pace. I don't know why they've done that. Balance likewise. So it's a bit frustrating. Like I say, he's not the best version of Isak we've had. It is a decent version though. Worth keeping in mind, if you're planning on spinning the legend box on Monday, I believe it's English League attackers. And this is one of the highlight cards, or rather Isak has got a highlight card in that pack, and I imagine that's probably going to be better than this one. We don't know until Monday, but just something to keep in mind. So if you're planning on spinning that pack, you might not need this one. But yeah, in isolation, goal poacher, a bit of pace, very tidy on the ball for centre forward, great awareness, should be making some good movement and getting into the right place at the right time, getting to the ball first ahead of defenders. Could be very effective. Not the best finishing, but pretty decent. Most versions of Isak are nice. They're good. For a guy who's big and tall, he doesn't feel awkward on the ball, albeit the balance has been nerfed a little bit and the less acceleration, so not going to feel as good on the ball necessarily as he normally does. But if you don't have a good version of him, like I was saying with the pool, basically, if you don't have a good version of Isak already, and if you get this guy, give him a try, you'll probably find he's a pretty effective striker. Be pleased to have him, but I think quite a lot of us have a decent version of Isak by now, and I've got the nominating contract one, which you can train. I've put skills on it. I've got him the way I like him, and he's brilliant for me. So for me personally, I think there'll be other people in my boat as well. I just don't need this version, but like I say, in isolation, you don't have a good version of him. It's a good card, it's a good striker, could be very effective. Now we have Saka from Arsenal. So even before we activate the booster, this is one of the better versions of Saka we've had, I think. This is a very good, I think it's a very good version of him. It's a very good card. We will hit that booster straight away though. And as you can see, attacking awareness, ball control, finishing, acceleration. What's that? Striker's instincts, I think. Yeah, striker's instinct booster. So yeah, nice boost we get on him. He's had a fairly nice boost overall, to be honest, compared to his GP card. They're not done anything crazy, but they have slightly shuffled his on-the-ball skills, his attributes. So dribbling, I think, is slightly lower, but the other two slightly higher, something like that. I'm not looking at it right now, but yeah, I think especially with the boost, though, very good on the ball still. The attacking awareness and finishing not boosted very nicely. Reasonable passing, that low pass will go over 80 with the game plan boost. Got good pace, decent balance. Physical contact's not too bad for a wide man. And if we look at the skills, they have added long range curler, really nice skill to add for an inverted winger playing on the right, left footer. Taking away low lofted pass, I think can live without that. It's got a few skill moves, soul control, heel trick, One-touch pass, a nice one. He's got good selection skills. I think long-range curler is the key, though. When you play this guy on the right-hand side, cutting onto his left foot with long-range curler, finishing up to 84 with a maximum boost. The pace, good on the ball. One-touch pass with some reasonable passing attributes. Good attacking awareness, really good for a wide man. This is a very good version of Saka. I think, especially for Arsenal fans, you'd be buzzing if you get this card. But I think even if you're not an Arsenal fan, if this type of player, kind of inverted wing on the right-hand side, fits into the way you play, I think it's going to be a really, really good card to pick up. And this might be the pick of the pack, to be honest. I think for a lot of people it will be. And we finish up with another Lewandowski. So this is about a 3,000th version of Lewandowski. This is a slightly different one, though. It's not just another Lewandowski. If you watch the match, he scored a couple of headers and then a really good free kick as well. It's a booster as well. We'll boost him in a moment, but we'll start with his skills. It's like I say, he scored a couple of headers. So as you imagine, he gets aerial superiority. They've also given him long-range curler. That's an interesting one. So we're going to come back to that. So we've got heading. Now we've got aerial superiority, acrobatic finishing. So you've got all the skills he wants from crosses. Obviously, he's got first-time shot, long-range shooting. They took away cut behind and turn and chip shot control. I think we can live without those. But I think with long-range curler and aerial superiority, both two nice additions. He's got an aerial booster as well, though. Like I say, he scored 2 headers. So we've got the skills to be good from crosses. And we hit that booster. Jumping, physical, heading. All of those now going to go over 90 with the game plan boost. So this guy's going to be really, really strong in the air. Finishing up to 93 as well. They have actually nerfed his attacking awareness, which is frustrating and kind of confusing. You think if a guy scores a hat-trick, you would think his attacking awareness would probably at least be as good as it normally is, but apparently it's worse. Yeah, no comment. Acceleration's down a bit, balance is down a bit as well, but they've given him a fair boost even before the A-form booster. They've given him a fair boost on his aerial and physical attributes, as you would imagine. His kicking power is up as well. Stamina's up a bit. And this is what I wanted to come to when I mentioned long range curler. Set pieces up a bit. Like I say, he scored that really nice free kick, curled it in the top corner. His goal was 2 headers and a free kick. Why have they added long range curler? The reason I want to mention that is I wanted to ask, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer because I don't think it does, but does long range curler have any effect on your ability from free kicks? Because if he didn't score with anything, with you know, from open play with a shot, basically, he scored 2 headers from open play, and he scored a free kick that he curled in the corner. Does long range curler somehow impact your ability from free kicks? Is that what they're suggesting? Because I don't understand why they're giving him that skill otherwise. I'm pretty sure that doesn't have any impact on your ability from free kicks, but if you disagree, let me know, because I'm just wondering why they're giving him that skill. It's a bit of a strange one to me, but yeah, I wanted to mention that. But yeah, like I say, with that full boost, beast in the air. If you want a Lewandowski who's great from crosses and he can bring long balls down, this could be your guy. Like I say, with that A-form boost, jumping, physical, heading, all going over 90, got all the skills to back that up. You put crosses in for this guy, he's going to be really, really powerful. Tidy enough on the ball with the game plan boosted with 80 plus and all these as well. Low pass is okay for a striker. Awareness has been nerfed for some inexplicable reason, but it's still 90 before your game plan boost, and the finishing is brilliant. So yeah, the one weakness really with this card, and like I say, they have nerfed his acceleration and balance as well, which is frustrating, but he's a goal poacher. I really feel like, based on his performance, they could have made him a fox in the box. I think if they'd made him a fox in the box, that would have really made this a brilliant, brilliant card. With the ability to give him, making him a real physical aerial beast, but still with the awareness and finishing. If they'd made him a fox in the box, I think it would have been perfect. It would have been such a good card. But with the goal poacher playing style, as I always say, with the goal poacher, they're always going to be looking to play off the shoulder of the last defender, getting him behind the defence. And he's just not got the pace to do that. And the problem with that is that if you've got a slow goal poacher, like I say, they're not going to be as effective running behind the defence. The centre-back is quite often going to get there to the ball ahead of them, and they're not going to be so effective at that. And when it comes to coming short as well, this is why I like to have a fox in the box. I like to feed passes into the feet of my striker and have them come short and collect the ball, and then I play off them. With a goal poacher, quite often when you're looking to do that, you slip a pass into your striker, they're kind of facing the other way. They're shaping to turn in behind the defence. And so the centre-back can step up and intercept it quite easily. So that goal poacher playing style and the lack of pace don't marry up well for me. So I think that's something to keep in mind. For some people, it might not be a problem. And like I say, from crosses, he's going to be brilliant. And that play style is not going to be a problem from crosses. And when you're playing long balls forward as well, it's always worth keeping in mind. Everyone plays a long ball forward at some point, especially from goal kicks. When you get the ball with your keeper, you launch it downfield sometimes if you don't have a defender who's open. Having a striker who's as good in the air as this guy can be really, really valuable. So, yeah, the goal poacher playing style with a lack of pace, big frustration for me. I wish they'd made him a fox in the box. But outside of that, I think it's a really interesting version of Lewandowski. Certainly it's not the best version we've had, but it's one that's slightly different and it's a beast in the air. It's going to be great from crosses and long balls. I think it's a really good, really interesting version of Lewandowski. So it might not be everyone's cup of tea, but if the strengths that they've given him on this card are your cup of tea, I think it could be fantastic to pick up. So I think overall it's an interesting pack. I don't think it's an amazing pack in terms of having real top level players in there. I don't think there's a great deal of, you know, real quality players that I'll be looking to throw coins at to try and pick up. But I do think that Lewandowski for a lot of people could be a really, really good card. Not for everyone. Saka, I think, is the pick of the pack. I think that's a brilliant card. Isak and Rodrigo de Paul, I think both of those, a lot of us have got a better version by now. But if you don't have a better version, two very good cards to pick up. I think Toti Gomes, people might sleep on how good he is. He's not a brilliant card, but I think he's really solid. Could be a really useful one to pick up. Zaccagni and Sottil might be your cup of tea. Could be a useful winger for you. I think Tillman for a 4-star could be a pretty useful option. Muslera, again, not an elite level card, but, you know, for Turkish League Challenge especially, could be a tidy one to pick up. Dante, great hair. Slow as hell, but he's got some qualities. Could be a fun one to pick up. There are often some fans of Dante around. And then I think you've got one real dud in there. I think Mosquera just isn't a great card, to be honest. So it's a mixed bag. I think there's some interesting ones in there. A few good ones, a few interesting ones. On the overall, it's an interesting bag. Not an amazing one, but it's interesting enough. There are some decent ones in there. I think a lot of us will get one or two players out of this that could be quite useful. And I will just say as well, there's another pack that I'm going to look at today. I'm going to do a separate video later today reviewing these players. We've got a player of the season pack from Mexico. There are no players in here who are elite level by any means, but I think there are some pretty tidy looking ones in there. Could be some fun ones, some useful ones. So I'm going to do a separate video reviewing that pack later on. So keep your eyes out for that one. And otherwise, there's just one thing left for this video. For my regular viewers, I do have some very important news.
It's been 84 years.
Yes!